Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. R&B star Raheem DeVaughn leads a special tribute to Marvin Gaye at Wolf Trap this weekend, marking 50 years of his seminal album, What's Going On. I spoke with the three-time Grammy nominee about his Maryland roots and working with prolific DC producer Chucky Thompson, who died today at age 53.
Thank you so much for having me.
How did this come together? It's 2021, so it marks the 50th anniversary of Marvin Gaye's What's Going On album, iconic album. Is that what spawned this thing, the anniversary?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Being a Washingtonian and, Marvin being a huge influence on my career, this opportunity was brought to me and of course I jumped on it right away.
Now, will this be your first round of shows since the whole pandemic? Like, where does this fall for you in terms of getting back out there?
Oh, no, I've actually been doing some touring and moving around a bit, of course, as safely as possible. And it's been smooth and I've been blessed thus far, thankful to continuously be healthy and, through all the COVID testing and stuff that, I do periodically.
Sure. Give us a teaser of some of the, the iconic songs that we might hear that, we all know and love from Marvin Gaye.
Well, you're definitely going to hear records from the What's Going On album in particular. Being as though it's the 50-year anniversary of that album, I rounded up some of my good friends, artists from the area as well as, artists that are known globally. Shout out to Daly, who's coming from all the way across the pond to come do this. Special appearances by Eric Roberson, Yazara, B-Boy Soul, the Chuck Brown Band. Of course, I'm going to be there, and my band as well, Attention.
Sounds great. Now, see if you can remember, when did you discover Marvin Gaye? Like, do you remember listening to him as a kid or, your parents playing it? Or, when do you think you first fell in love with Marvin Gaye's music?
Definitely as a kid. I fell in love with Marvin's music as a kid. 1984 sticks out for me. Seeing him perform, if I'm not mistaken, as Motown 25, along with Michael Jackson, witnessing him win a Grammy as well. Just being an all-around fan and listening to the old catalog and stuff like that. And then, of course, the untimely demise of his death and, the day that he passed and Melva Lindsay announcing that on a Quiet Storm with WTOP here locally. These are different things that stand out to me when you think about Marvin Gaye.
Let's run through some of his big hits and what you think makes him so special. So obviously this is the 50th anniversary of the album What's Going On, but the song What's Going On was such a landmark moment for civil rights movement, picket lines and picket signs. But talk about why that song was so important for that movement.
Oh, I absolutely. I mean, the world has changed so much, but there's things that haven't changed, and even back then, Marvin was talking about the social climate of the country, in terms of racism and, politics and, having a brother that was off at the war and fighting the war at that time. I believe it was Vietnam. So it kind of shows the power of, artistry and time capsuling things that are happening in real time. And that's something that I've also called myself to do, most recently with my album that came out been over 6 months now, a little over 6 months. What a Time to Be in Love, album number 8, which I had a record that's dedicated to him I had a song that's dedicated to him on that album. Marvin used to say. And I also have a brand new album, Love Sick, which I dropped about, 6-7 weeks ago as well. And I think if you listen to my catalog, there's always like 1 or 2, 3 songs in there that have a heavy influence of Marvin, reminiscent of the lush harmonies and some of the things that he would touch on in, like that I touch on now.
Oh, for sure. And you're relating, your own musical style to his. And just fittingly enough, your Zoom title is The Love King of Soulful R&B. And but all of that is in the footsteps of Marvin Gaye. I mean, Sexual Healing, Let's Get It On. I mean, are there any more soulful romantic songs than those, man?
I know, right? Exactly. I think more importantly than the quality of his voice, I think that, the voice can do many things. The voice is the instrument, right? But I think it was just very intentional in terms of, I feel like his subject matter was always very intentional, and it was very like honest music, you know what I mean? And, you know, seeing previous interviews of Marvin, he spoke, you know, on being this very sexual being, but also being a very spiritual being at the same time. You know what I mean? So I think that rather than have this internal battle, or, you know, at a time where they told you couldn't do both, you know, he did what he did best as an artist, which is to say that why not? Why can't we? You know, my music can be provocative, it can be sexy, it can be political, it can be conscious, you know, and I think that that speaks to the well-rounded shaping of any artist. You know, balance is everything, and to be able to you know, take it, I guess, from the pulpit to the bedroom was his mission.
I love it. Well, human beings are complex individuals, so you're darn right that it can be both. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, well, we could talk Marvin Gaye, you know, all day. Heard it through the grapevine. There's so many good ones, but I want to know a little more, remind our listeners a little more about you, because I know you were technically born in New Jersey, but, you know, you grew up for all, you know, purposes here in our area. So where exactly did you grow up? You know, what high school did you go to? That kind of thing.
I grew up in primarily in Maryland. I completed high school. I went to High Point High School. I graduated from there, which is in Beltsville, Maryland, PG County. So I was pretty much a PG County kid for the most part. You know, I started to pursue my career as a recording artist, as a solo artist, like heavy back in like 99, 2000, 2001, you know, aggressively, and did my first record deal back in 2002. My first album, The Love Experience, dropped in '05, and it's been never ending since.
I know you went to Coppin State for college in Baltimore, but was there like a moment that sparked you and said, you know, career-wise, like, you know, oh, I think I can actually make a go of this myself?
Definitely, like the first year in college, you know, is when I really got that itch. You know, unfortunately, I didn't finish. You know, as a result, I dropped out and just really had tunnel vision on my career as a recording artist, as a songwriter, and things that I wanted to do. You know, not something I would probably tell my kids to do, but you know, if it was something that they were to do, I would be as supportive as I could of their dreams and efforts. You know, and you know, so I would say probably the first year of college is where I really started to put the pieces of the puzzle together.
Nice. And then how did that record deal come about? You mentioned it was what, like 2002 or something. Was it Jive Records? How did that actually, how did you get, quote, discovered?
Yeah, I was on a job contractually from 2002 to 2010. You know, that deal actually happened through previous managers who I still have a great relationship with. Shout out to Cliff Jones and Jerry Vines, you know, who were, they were like the industry guys, you know what I mean, to look to for guidance at that time in my career. And, you know, working with artists like Genuine and Drew Hill and Blackground Records at the time, who, you know, was behind Aaliyah. They, you know, it gave me an opportunity to, you know, to learn from some of the best in the business at that time from my area. You know, they had the knowledge and the information, and, you know, definitely they were instrumental in my deal with Jive at the time.
Now, how big was it for you to get invited to go on, you know, like the Tonight Show with Leno or Jimmy Kimmel's late night show and get that national TV exposure? You know, I mean, people around this area knew you because you came up here. But how big was it to be on that national television and get that spotlight?
Oh, it's been great, man. From doing Leno to Kimball, probably the most surreal moment for me, though, personally, would be the brief time that Arsenio Hall came back.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I had the opportunity to perform on Arsenio. You know, when they revamped the show, so that was cool. You know, growing up on Arsenio in particular, and you know, being able to, you know, see a platform that had so many artists that looked like me. You know what I mean? On there as a kid, you know. So that was always like a dream or like a bucket list thing to be able to perform. You know, on the Arsenio Hall show. So, you know, back in, I believe it was 2010, 2011, when I had the opportunity to be on the show, it was pretty dope, man. But I'm thankful for every opportunity that I've had, you know, television wise or, you know, to get up close and personal, and sit down with I guess you call it talk TV at night,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. You must have grown up watching Arsenio on, in Coming to America, and then his own talk show, and then to be there in the same room with him. You're like, I made it, Ma.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, I know, you'd had a couple albums at that point, but I mean, I think you really blew up, at least mainstream in 2008 when you get that Grammy nominee for Woman. Take me into the creation of that song.
That record was created here in Maryland, producer Chucky Thompson. And I was challenged by the A&R at the time, thinking that my album was done. And, we went through some records and we had a heated discussion. And I remember leaving New York and being charged up and calling Chucky. And that's what came from it. You know what I mean? I wanted to make sure that I had a record on the album that spoke to all women, not just one woman, and spoke for women and, spoke to the beauty of women and lifted them up. And that's where that record, the inspiration for that record came from. Definitely getting that first call, first time, hey, you've been nominated for a Grammy has been exciting. Since then I've been nominated for 2 more, so it's a total of 3 nominations in my career. And, it's a great thing. Some artists never have the opportunity just to say that, let alone win. So, definitely accolades that I can, put under my belt, humble.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Woman, Customer, 11 More Masterpiece. I think you've had several Grammy nominations, but thank you for doing Woman, by the way. I mean, you had like Keep Your Head Up, the Tupac song, and there's been a couple, but it's almost too rare in music, of all genres, I think, to really hold up the women like you did in that song. So thanks for doing that. Anything else, man? I mean, let me end this way. Like, have you played Wolf Trap before? Why is that such like a cool venue? I mean, not only you're a hometown hero coming back to play this area, but it's also like a really cool, outdoor national park of a concert venue, man.
Yeah. Wolf Trap is an iconic place. I'm looking forward to doing it. I've had the opportunity to sit in with, Boney James, before when he's played the venue, for a record that we did together a few years back, made by the Maker of Love. I'm looking forward to it, man. It's going to be good. Home team representing the Prince of R&B, but Prince of Motown, Marvin Gaye. Thoroughly looking forward to the opportunity.
Awesome. Well, again, everyone, Raheem DeVaughn and friends, it's going to be a tribute to Marvin Gaye at Wolf Trap on Saturday, August 14th. So get your tickets now. Hey, thanks so much for doing this. I really appreciate your time.
Hey, no problem. And just a gentle reminder, I got a brand new album out. It's called Love Sick. Make sure you check that out on all digital platforms. It's my second release within the last 6 months. The follow-up album to What a Time to Be in Love. So check both of those out. Follow me on Spotify. Big shout out to their big campaign. They got me plastered all over the city at different bus stops and train stops and stuff of that nature for their local artist campaign. Supporting not only me, but all the major artists from out of the area.
Yes, What a Time to Be in Love, 2020 album, Love Sick, the newest one, 2021 album. Pick them both up now or download them both now and listen to them all before you head out to the show. And then, you can get acclimated with your newest stuff and also go back and listen to some of that Marvin Gaye stuff on your way to Wolf Trap 2 and get primed for this concert. Hey, thanks so much, Raheem.
Indeed. Thank you so much. Peace.
Thanks so much for joining us on Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Remember to hit the subscribe button and give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time. I wanted to take a second to tell you about an app I really enjoy. Living in the DC area is great, and Podcast DC gathers all of the local shows that I like all in one local app. Health, sports, local news, politics, and so much more. Podcast DC is the new local app with hundreds of DC area podcasts to choose from. I can earn exciting rewards just for listening and share the podcasts I love instantly. Available in the App Store or in Google Play, listen local with Podcast DC.